All right, so, only new section for today. On page 262 and 263, you have a huge chart. Okay, again, because it's capitalization, some of this we'll just run through, some of it I will talk about, write stuff on the board for. The names of businesses need to be capitalized. Uptown Bakery, M&M Mars. If you just have a common noun like grocery store or department store, gas station, you're not gonna capitalize those. Brand names, Tylenol, Jell-O, Xerox, but not machine. We talked about, maybe it wasn't you I talked about it. But like peanut, wait a minute, nope, that's not what I'm gonna do, sorry. Okay, this is the brand name. It absolutely gets capitalized. It's being used here as a proper adjective. This is your common noun. You do not. You might see this capitalized on the jar. If you do, it's just because, or on a billboard if they were really advertising it, just because they're trying to get your attention. But in a sentence, the common noun, that's not part of the name. All right, government departments, FBI, IRS, programs, New Deal, food stamp program, political parties such as the Labor Party, Republican Party, Democratic Party, etc., both words. Organizations, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, excuse me. But if you had like a common noun for a team, like, baseball team, you wouldn't. If it said Chicago White Sox, all three words would get capitalized, okay? Members of organizations, Democrat, yes. Republican, yes. However, this is a commonly mistaken one. You all are that. The ones that are about to graduate, freshmen, sophomores, juniors, seniors, none of that gets capitalized. Let's see here. Okay. Schools, United States Naval Academy, Mercer Christian Academy, all three words. Princeton High School, all three words. Same idea, okay? But the common noun, like her high school, you wouldn't capitalize high school. Buildings, Sears Tower, Golden Gate Bridge is a structure, and then Lincoln Memorial is a monument. All monument structures and buildings get capitalized. All of your months get capitalized. All 12 of them, all 7 of your days get capitalized. However, again, a common misnomer. The only way one of these gets capitalized is if it's personified. I was making sure that they actually put that in there for you. How many of you have read, well, if you were here with me last year, you read, I know you did, because we read Huckleberry Finn. How many of you have read something by Mark Twain? Huckleberry Finn, Tom Sawyer, blah, blah, blah. Okay? He does a lot of personifying things that aren't people, but giving them human characteristics. Okay? If a season is personified, just like if anything else is personified, it would be capitalized. You're giving it human characteristics when it's not a human, okay? All right, next, holidays, all of them, okay? BC and AD, okay? This one burns me up every time I have to think about it. Not this, okay? I told you this last year. You've undoubtedly seen it somewhere in print. If you've been to public school in the last several years, you've seen it a lot in a history book, okay? Not this, unfortunately. So, the historic humanists have decided that they don't want Christ's birth to be the focal center point for what we base our time on for all of measured time anymore. This is before Christ, that's what it stands for. This is not after death. That's a common confusion. This actually stands for Anno Domini, which is Latin for in the year of our Lord. Okay? So, they don't like that. They want to take it out. They want to make it easier for you to forget that Jesus Christ is the focal point for the way we've measured all of our time. Okay? So they came up with Common Era, which is what they use for this, and Before Common Era, which is what they use for that. I have to breathe a little bit there, okay? Burns me up. And it should you, too, if you're a believer. It should burn you up. Just know, I'm just telling you, if you see these, that's what they're doing. Okay? One more point here, besides just the capitalization, is the way we write these. So if I were to say Sophocles, who was a philosopher, lived 500 years, or he was born at this time, or he died at that time, I'd have to look it up. We write the BC after the number because it would read 500 years before Christ. Okay? When we do the AD, we would write it this way, which Anno Domini, again I told you, it's in the year of our Lord, 2021. Okay? AD goes before the number, because that's in the year of our Lord, and then you say number. This, you put the BC after, because it's this year before Christ, or this many years before Christ. Okay, let's see. All right, AM and PM. You don't get much choice in English grammar, but you do on these. The only rule here that you must follow is if you start out with lowercase, you must keep up with lowercase. Okay, so if you're going to write AM or PM, either one more than one time, okay, or just AM and then write once and then PM once, they need to both be lower or both be upper throughout. Okay, you don't get to choose one and then say, oh, I feel like doing this with the other. Okay, stick with one or the other. All right, and finally, two more, my bad. French Revolution is a historical event, a historical period. Renaissance would be capitalized. A historic document, Magna Carta, okay? One that I think of right often, because this inevitably will come up at some point. The document is this. If we were typing it, we would italicize it. Since we're not typing, we underline it. That's not part of it. Okay, generally the D is not part of the name of something. It can be, but generally it is not. There's something else I wanted to go over here with you. Oh, did we go over? I don't think we did. The other day, did we go over at all what words you do not capitalize in a title of something? We did. Okay, good. All right. Anybody? Let's do a quick reminder, because that's always useful. Four categories, 4 things. What do we not capitalize unless it's first or last? If it's the first word or the last word in a title, doesn't matter what the word is. If it's the letter A, your article, it still gets capitalized. But if it's not first or last, what are the 4 things anybody remember? Go ahead. Okay.
Coordinating conjunctions.
Okay, coordinating conjunctions do not get capitalized unless they're first or last. That's and, but, or, nor, for, yet, or so. What else? I just told you one of them. I'll get you a second. Yes?
A, and, the.
Okay, your articles, A, N, and the. Did you take yours? Okay, what did you have?
Prepositions less than 5 letters.
Awesome. Prepositions less than 5. And the other one seems kind of random maybe, but do you remember? It's okay.
To, before, infinitive.
Yep. the two before, which is actually, we call it two before the infinitive, but it's at the beginning of the infinitive, because the infinitive includes the two and then the verb. Okay, and I said like to be or to not to, or not to be, okay? If that was the title, that isn't actually a very famous line from Shakespeare, but, if it were the title of something, this one would be, right? Because it's the first word. The or is a conjunction, not is an adverb. You absolutely capitalize it even though it's short. Be is a verb, even though it's two letters, you absolutely do. To be or not, but this to before the infinitive does not get it. Okay, so if this were, say, the name of a book or whatever, that's, or a short story, we would put quotes around it, but that's how it'd be capitalized, either way. Finally, special events and awards. Cherry Blossom Festival, Teacher of the Year, notice the of and the the are not, and President's Award, all right? They want you all good, okay. They give you three choices. Two of them, there's something wrong with, all right? They want you to pick the only one that is completely right, all right? Number one, Caitlin? B, good. Because century is the type of Buick, it should be capitalized. Elementary school should not. So B is correct. All right, number two, Kate? C. Sophomores should not be and Saturdays should be. Isaac, number three?
B.
B. Courthouse should not be, charter should be. You guys do 4 through 10 the same way. Flip over onto 11-7.
B.
Number 3 was B, yes, correct. And then on 11-7, there are two corrects. Just work on those, okay? Could be, should be capitalized, or should not be, and is, either way. Oh, yeah.
Look, that, it's contagious.
Mm-hmm.
What's this one?